Good morning and welcome to another round of Saturdays with Stephanie. I just wanted to, first of all, give a heads up. If you have not watched Toy Story 4 and you hate movie spoilers, you might want to stop this right now. I probably won't spoil anything too much because there's only so much time, but I also don't want to ruin the experience for anyone. So if you haven't seen the movie and would like to before you happen to hear anything about it, please stop this video, go watch it, then come back. All right? Cool. So, Toy Story 4, first of all, I love the Toy Story movies. I'm a huge fan of them. And Toy Story 4 is definitely, I assume, the very last one. Of course, everybody thought Toy Story 3 was going to be the last one, so who knows? They may still make another one, and if so, I will be in the theater to go watch it. I went to see Toy Story 4 in the theater by myself because my husband's not really into cartoons and I can't blame him. I just happen to love these movies a whole lot. And after I got done watching it, the very first thing I thought was, I so want to have a movie night with kids from church to talk through some of the themes that are in this movie because they remind me so much of our Christian life, what it means to be a child of God, what it means to be baptized, what it means to be a Christian and called to discipling others. So let me explain exactly what I mean by that. So the story revolves around a little girl named Bonnie, even though she's not really a main character because the toys are really the main characters in this movie, in all of the movies. The main character of all the movies is a cowboy doll named Woody, and he is the formerly beloved favorite toy of a boy named Andy who grew up and gave all his toys to this little girl named Bonnie. Now, Bonnie does not necessarily love Woody the same way that Andy did. He is not her favorite toy. She doesn't even always pick him. But she does have a favorite toy. Her favorite toy actually is one that she makes in this movie. She actually makes her favorite toy, and it's a little guy named Forky. She names him. And she makes him out of things she actually pulls out of the trash can, little bits of leftover supplies and creative things. So she makes him at the beginning of the story to be a friend of hers to get her through the school day because she's not supposed to bring any toys to school with her. So she makes her little friend Forky to be with her. Here's the interesting thing about Forky. First of all, Bonnie marks him as her own by writing her name on the bottom of his feet. And it's kind of one of those things that all of the toys, especially the really loved ones, they get marked that way. Well, guess what? So do we as Christians. We are marked by God with the waters of baptism. He created us, just like Bonnie created her little Forky, but he also marks us as his own and adopts us and says, you are mine, you are special. You belong to me, you are beloved. Now here's the thing about Forky. He is marked by Bonnie the same day he is made by her. But he has no idea just how beloved he is. He doesn't even know that he's a toy. He keeps referring to himself as trash. Now Woody takes it upon himself to kind of start babysitting Forky and teaching him what it means to be a toy, to be beloved by Bonnie, his creator, the one who marked him. And that's kind of the same as what we do as Christians. For some of us, we have been followers of Jesus our whole lives. For other people, it's this brand new thing. Some people are brought into the family the day they are born, and they never know anything else. Others, like similar to Forky, who lived a whole life of being trash and being scraps and all of those things, for a long time, he thought that's what he was. But the thing is, he was chosen by Bonnie. She marked him as her own. God marks us as his own. And we as lifelong Christians have this immense gift and responsibility, kind of like Woody, to help lead along those who don't quite understand what all of this is about. Maybe they've never heard anything beyond the fact that Jesus loves them. Maybe they don't even understand that fully. So we get this amazing opportunity to share. One of the other characters in the movie is a very, very old doll in an antique store. And she has a broken voice box, so she's never been loved by a child. And she feels very empty inside. Her name is Gabby Gabby, and she desperately wants nothing more than to be loved by a child. She doesn't even necessarily know what it is that she's looking for, and sometimes she will do very terrible things in order to get what she wants. And all of us, I think, know people like that. People who don't even know that they're missing the presence of Jesus in their lives. They don't even know what it is that they're looking for. They just know they're looking for something. And sometimes they will make very terrible choices in the effort to fill that gaping hole inside of themselves that they don't even understand. In the end, Gabby actually does end up with a little girl, and it's beautiful. And Woody actually sacrifices his own voice box. They're both pull string toys that have little records inside of them. And Woody allows her to take his voice box so that she can have a voice and she can be beloved by a child. It's a beautiful thing. Sometimes we as Christians get the opportunity to give up something that's important to us for the sake of others so they can come to know Jesus. I think right now a lot of us are being asked to give up a lot of things for the sake of others. Maybe you're completely uncomfortable with the idea of wearing a mask and you feel like your rights are being stripped away. But have you ever thought about it in a different light? That maybe the social distancing or the wearing a mask is something you're being asked to do out of love for another person. Now, we could debate all day long about whether or not governments should be requiring these things or anything else. And I get that. I get that there are so many concerns out there. But I want to encourage you, before you take to social media or before you gripe to your family or before you make a big deal out of those kinds of things, stop and think first. What is it that my neighbor, my friend, the stranger on the street, what do they need from me? Not because somebody's telling me I have to, but because I love them with the love of Jesus, and I want to do what's best for them. Paul says in one of his writings that everything is permissible, but not everything is beneficial. And he does this in the context of talking to Christians who have been told, absolutely, you have freedom in the gospel. You do not need to follow all of the old dietary laws of the Jewish tradition. None of those things are obligated to you anymore. However, what he warns is just because you don't have to follow them doesn't mean that sometimes, maybe, it's a good idea to make choices for the sake of others that you're trying to teach about the love of Jesus. So it may mean giving up some things that you feel are your absolute rights. And you know what? They are. We are incredibly blessed in this country to have so much freedom. We have the freedom of religion. We can gather, even as religious people. We can gather to worship. Now, some states out there still are not allowing that. And I'm not even going to debate all of the legalities of those things. But for right now, we've paused meeting together just for a little while for the sake of loving each other and those that don't yet know Jesus. And even as we return to smaller gatherings in person in a few weeks, even as we take those next steps, we're still going to be providing all of these online content things out of love for each other, love for those that are vulnerable, love for those that can't worship with us for one way or another. And I do not foresee that changing at any point in the future. There are some that may only worship from a distance with our congregation because they live too far away, or because at this point in their lives, their health will not allow them to leave their homes or to leave where they're living in some sort of assisted living or nursing care facility. That's okay. We will still come together and serve them the best way we can. I really thank you for being here today. I hope if you haven't thought about watching Toy Story, this will inspire you to watch it. Keep in mind that the metaphor breaks down if you think about it too long, but I really just love thinking about how our God has both made us and has marked us as his. And I also want to give a quick shout out to Katie and say thank you for giving me the Forky kits. They were left over from her son's birthday party, which unfortunately, not unfortunately, but good for him, happened right before everything shut down. So the plan originally was for me to use these Forky kits with Sunday school, and someday, perhaps we will. But in the meantime, I at least got to put together one for all of you to see. So I hope you have a great rest of your Saturday, and I hope we see you in worship with us tomorrow. Thanks a lot for joining me.